every person's decision impacts the other in the complex food economy. We need to solve for climate change first and foremost.
Learn about how difficult the food supply chain actually is.
There are incredibly skewed inequalities which are present.
For a couple of months, we have been working on our project Game of Food. Our project demonstrates how complicated food supply chain is by a game.
So as the title suggests, our goal was to reproduce the various intricacies of the food supply chain by using game theory. So the problem statement that we had in place was to showcase the complexities by introducing scenarios between four stakeholders. The four stakeholders that we identified for our project were the farmers, business, consumers, and then the environment. For the purposes of our game, the environment is a non-playable stakeholder, and the impacts on the environment are decided by the decisions made by all three other players. Our basic goal was to show how difficult it is to balance all the differences between all four stakeholders by the means of showcasing that every person's decision impacts the other in the complex food economy. The scope of our field visit was to map the intricacies in three different areas. So the places that we chose were Calcutta City, and then Chinchura in West Bengal, and then the Howrah district. And within these three areas, what we managed to do was speak to farmers, speak to agricultural officers, and also scientists. Whereas the key takeaway from this was that we need to solve for climate change first and foremost. The reason being that even if one farmer has access to irrigation facilities, it will not make a positive impact in the sense that it does not benefit the community at large.
Keeping all the research insights in our mind, we designed the game over a period of an year. In our game, your choices make an immediate impact on the player's score. Also, they are having a long-term impact.
So in the various intricacies that we found, we actually mapped out two different models. So we have a playable design model, but we also have a more realistic model which has harder payoffs, which showcase how difficult it is to balance everything. Within the scope of our project, another thing that we did not initially expect to find out, but we did, was the social impact of all of those scenarios involved. What we found out was that there are incredibly skewed inequalities which are present in the food economy, which affect certain stakeholders a lot more than the others. And to map out the same, we also presented a report which map out the specific areas of inequalities and how they are reproduced in the next cycles of agricultural production.
An individual also contributes to environmental factors. For example, a single plastic wrapper does not harm an environment, but at a scale, that single plastic wrapper leads to a huge pile of mountain of garbage.
Because when you play the game, you realize that the scores that are being reflected in real time at the top, they showcase that it is incredibly difficult to essentially win the game, as we like to put it. So you will see that in every single turn that you play, your decision by like one player as you play as a player, it will impact all others in like adverse or even minute forms.
We have completed our game design, and now in future we aim to develop it as a web application so that everyone could have access to play the game and learn about how difficult the food supply chain actually is. Even though you think you are benefiting, sometimes you might hurting other stakeholders.